Strategy building, one question that you must ask yourself. That's what I want to talk about in this video, because without asking yourself this question, you are potentially setting yourself for massive amounts of failure, or worse yet, having fool's gold where you think you have it figured out, but then you just get crushed and you find out, oh, I guess I didn't know what I was doing. And this question, very basic question, but it's very, very revealing. A little background here, I'm not gonna be talking in theory. Right now, I am fine-tuning a strategy and working on it, and I've got to be asking myself this very same question. Now, in my situation, I'm looking for more so to narrow down a price range within some strike prices that I'm trading as far as options are concerned, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit trail. But just understand that for me right now, like I said, just trying to fine-tune a couple things from a price range. So I'm not necessarily looking to build an entirely new strategy, but my point also is this question pertains no matter you're doing some fine-tuning like I am, or if you're just looking to flat out build a complete strategy, this question has got to be at the core of everything. So I want to go and walk you through some of this data that I've been collecting about my fine-tuning and, walk you through a little bit of it and really show you what you need to ultimately be paying attention to. So on that note, you're also going to need to be collecting data, because the data that you think maybe matters most doesn't really matter at all, because that's where the fool's gold can come from. But like I said, I'm gonna show you the software that I'm using, and whether you use this software or somebody else, that's up to you. But the point here is you better be collecting data, because you're not gonna understand your strategy unless you have the data that is required. So what we are looking at here is TraderView, fantastic software. I would recommend it to everybody. In fact, I'll put a link down below, and if you use my link, you'll get a special 25% discount on it. But it's absolutely fantastic in collecting data. And in terms of, well, what question should you be asking yourself? And for a little context, I now have 10 days worth of data, and you'll see more on that. But 2 weeks worth of data, and maybe you're thinking, oh wow, look at that. You started at zero and you've worked your way all the way up to now being up a little over $1,600. And so, wow, yeah, therefore this is a valid strategy. Look at it, look at that nice upsloping line. And that is completely false. This line here in all actuality means nothing. Anybody can have a line that goes like this. Because you know what? Sometimes you just get lucky over and over again. Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, and you get a line like this, you get a graph like this, but it's not actually telling you anything that you need to know. Okay, Clay, so what do you need to know? Good question. So let's hop over here, and what I want to do here is click on detailed. And there's a couple stats here that ultimately matter most. First one is this right here. Number of losing trades. So that's going to be the first statistic that matters. How many losing trades have you had? But here's where the question actually comes into play. So this is what you have to ask yourself. When I lose, what happens? I'm going to repeat that question again. When I lose, what happens? So that's where you first got to figure out, are you sure you're losing? Because if your answer, well, Clay, I don't lose, therefore this question is irrelevant to me. If you never lose, then you 100% have fool's gold. No doubt about it, because there is not a single strategy, there's not been a single trader investor on the planet that has never lost, okay? So like I said, if you're sitting there saying, okay, this whole video is irrelevant, I never lose. Fool's gold. I get it. I'm just a hater probably. Oh, I'm just jealous. I understand. But just remember who tried to warn you that you definitely have fool's gold if you think that you never lose, or your strategy right now has 0 losses. So number of losing trades, followed by when I lose, what happens? So let's go back to this data. So you can see here, I have had 7 losing trades. How many trades have I taken? 33, which is telling me that I'm losing 21.2% of the time. Now I want you to think about this. I've lost 7 times, yet what was that line doing that I showed you earlier on? It was still going up. And that's what I mean. When I lose, what's happening? Is my account getting blown up? Am I giving back like 8 months worth of gains? Am I giving back 8 weeks of gains? But like I said, that's the question. When I lose, what happens? Think about that. Let's look at some more data. Another key stat up over here. Largest gain, 237. Largest loss, 112. So that's good to know. Does that one have to be that way? I'm not going to say that, but it is nice to know that, within this fine tuning of what I'm working on, that my even largest gain is bigger than my largest loss. But here's one that really matters a whole lot. Average winning trade, $69.35. Average losing trade, $28.20. So that's something else that really, really matters and really makes a big difference. So let's fill in the blanks here. When I lose, well, I'm not losing as much as my biggest gains. My average losses are not bigger than my average wins. When I lose, I'm not losing more than I win. Not that that's a requirement, but you see how all the focus is on when I lose, because way too often, and I'm just as guilty. When I got started, when I lose, my account disappeared. When I lose, I just gave away like a month's worth of my gains. When I lose, I'm gonna need to rethink life. I think if you have any amount of experience, that's usually how you would answer that question when just getting started. So don't think you have a valid strategy unless you're asking yourself those questions. And if you say, well, I'm not quite sure because I'm not tracking any data, I'm not really paying attention to things, I'd be very, very careful, because these statistics, what's your average win? What's your average loss? What's your win rate? What's your biggest win? What's your biggest loss? Those sorts of dynamics matter a whole lot. And then the software that I'm using, TraderView, you can dig way deeper into it and you can get all sorts of fantastic statistics. And that's why I couldn't recommend it any more than what I do. Absolutely fantastic piece of software, but it's all about the data. And at the core, in a very primitive way, when I lose, what happens? So make sure you're always asking yourself that bit of information. And when you ask yourself that bit of information, and then you can see let's just go back and take one more look at it. So when you ask yourself that question and you see the statistics and then you still see this line right here, you know that you're on the right track. You know that you're managing risk, you know that you're controlling risk, and you know that you're going about things in a worthwhile way. And what is a worthwhile way? Well, a worthwhile way means you're maybe not making money every trade, you're not making money every day, but your account is growing over time. So I hope this helps. Nothing revolutionary or nothing, philosophically just epic, but a basic question. But I'm telling you, a very, very powerful question, and one that a lot of people are scared to ask themselves because they know, when I lose, things get pretty bad. And if that's the case, well, then your strategy is broken. You don't have a good strategy, because a good strategy needs to be able to absorb losses, yet still keep growing in the upwards direction. So I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment section. Have you ever had fool's gold? How long did it time to take for you to develop and create these strategies that work for you? Always interesting to hear what other traders have to say. But yeah, get out there. When I lose, what happens? You better be asking yourself that question when you're building strategies. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.